Our article discussed the climate change and infectious diseases, and so it dove into different kinds of bacteria that were involved, such as mutualistic and pathogenic, and then viruses such as malaria, parasites like host parasites or animal parasites. And then the three main topics that were talked about were infectious parasites, land and food production, and water quality.
In host pathogen relationships, viruses infect their host, causing either mutualism, parasitic, or commensalism relationships. Mutualism is defined as two or more species that are both benefiting from each other. And parasitic, of the two species, one organism, the host, is harmed or affected. In commensalism relationships, between the two organisms, one is affected while the other benefits. In case of a pathogen entering a host cell, there can either be an infection or not. If there is an infection, then it could cause a disease. If there is a disease, then the host could acquire immunity to it. Increasing temperatures causes invertebrate development but reduces lifespan, which will affect the fitness of the organism. It also affects immune enzyme activity and bacterial resistance for insects.
Metabolic theory of ecology uses relationships between metabolism, temperature, and body size of an organism to predict how climate change will affect it. For example, in one study, host parasite transition models paired with metabolic theory was used to find how changes in seasonal and annual temperature affected the reproduction number of nematodes. The model predicted that nematode transmission would shift from 1 to 2 under warmer conditions.
So my slide talked about phenology. So phenology is the study of phenomena in relation to climate, plant, and animal life. And some trends that were shown was that there was a lot of loss of ice, which caused migration to stop due to climate change. And one of the major changes that was talked about was how diseases were affected in humans, animals, and plants because of climate change and the increase in parasites. And then for the developmental stages, one of the other main things was that the parasites develop differently due to different temperatures because of climate change.
In humans, climate change and heavy rain has caused diarrheal diseases such as cholera, which has caused a high fatality rate. When wildlife is unhealthy, humans who depend on it for survival are affected. Climate-driven societal implications for diseases are using early warming programs to find solutions. Forecasting and models have allowed scientists to link diseases such as malaria to climate models so they can predict high-risk areas and start mitigations.
Outlook and future challenges. The article discusses using mechanistic models and drivers, and it talks about not only evaluating rising temperature as an indicator of climate change, but also precipitation, humidity, and extreme weather. And it also talks about using factors like reproduction number and outbreak size to make models specific to certain pathogen types, and then applying these models to specific pathogens that are identified as the biggest threats to humans in order to make the most accurate models. And then climate change and disease risk look different across different types of systems. The effects of climate change are most visible in ocean and fixed terrestrial ecosystems, but not so much in mobile species like humans. And then climate disease interactions and their implications affect other aspects of climate change as well. Climate change affects food yields, water quality, displacement of populations, and conflict among populations, all which can worsen the effects of infectious disease.